Hey guys, this is Primeval with my attempt at Deity Challenge 26. So here we're Brazil, and most of their unique abilities are geared towards the cultural victory, or they're all geared towards the cultural victory, really. And maybe I'll go into them in a little more detail later on, but we've got a infantry replacement and a unique improvement that comes around machinery, so we're not going to worry about that right now. So the reason I wanted to play this so I think I was cut off there. I haven't finished my Shoshone playthrough yet, but I was on the CFC forums, and this Deity challenge, the first for Brave New World, looked really interesting. Apparently you start with Shaka as a neighbor, and he's extremely aggressive. I have had a little bit of experience dealing with the Impy before, and they are they're so powerful it's almost unfair, especially with the Deity AI who can just spam them out. So it looked like a real challenge, and I wanted to give it a try. So here I am. Now, as for starting locations, so I have skimmed most of the thread, so I do have some prior knowledge on this map. Even so, I don't think anyone's beaten this yet, and it'll still be mostly fresh to me. But knowing that we're going to be on a military tilt, that makes settling on a hill all that more important. So settling on a hill, for one, it gets you the extra production. So the hill has a base 2 hammers, whereas a city has base 2 food, 1 hammer, and 0 gold. So if you go and settle on a hill, you'll get 2 food and 2 hammers. Now, that looks like the most obvious choice. I don't want to go walking around for too long. Maybe we'll send the warrior to quickly explore. So some ancient runes there, that's nice. If we go over this way, we'll still have access to the river, which will get us a plus 25% gold for our trade routes. Although if we're going to be at war and unable to protect our trade routes, they might not work out too well for us. Now shifting over 1 still has us in range, 3 range of the salt, and puts us in 3 range of the citrus. So I think I'm going to go for that. We could also walk for a bit to get towards these mountains, which would be great because then we would have access to the observatory. The plus 50% science from an observatory is considerable, but I think based on what I've read about how aggressive the Zulu are going to be, I think rather than wasting turns walking around for a mountain and possibly losing out on a hill, I'm just going to go straight up and settle on the hill. Okay, I'm going to go and settle the city before I grab these runes, just in case I can get a free population off of this one. Weapons, alright, that's good, considering we have a we know that we're going to be needing a strong military. So here, I could go caravans and reveal horses, but I think I'm going to go pottery first. Since we've got all of this desert, if we can get a shrine going and then grab a desert folklore, that'll be a good flow of free and early faith. We could possibly get our own religion, or at least set up a nice bank of faith for the later game. Lots of nice runes. So from looking at the thread, I do know that the Zulu, at least they have some cities off to the left, and that we are their only neighbor. So that will explain the extreme aggression that a lot of the other players of this playthrough, or this save, have been experiencing. I'll post the link to the Deity Challenge thread on CFC, and you guys can definitely give this a try if you want. We're having good luck with the runes so far, with gold and an upgrade, and a 3rd rune on the way. Okay, what do we have this time around? We've met the Zulu. Can't sell them anything, and we got culture out of that, so that'll be nice. We'll be able to pop our first social policy next turn on turn 6. Let's see now. I think I'm gonna want to go honor is not going to help us too much. We'll be able to pump out melee units a little faster, but what I really want for fighting the eye is ranged units. Faster experience would be good for those ranged units, get them closer to logistics, and maybe get some instant heals off a little faster. I don't think I'm going to have too much time to fight barbarians if we are looking at early aggression with the Zulu, so honor's out. Piety could let me get the shrines up sooner and get a little more faith out of them, but I'm not going to get to the temples too soon, so I don't think I'm going to go for piety. Religion's not a priority for me. I just want the free faith, since we do have a lot of desert tiles to work. So it's really a choice between liberty and tradition. If I do want to go for a cultural victory, assuming that we can survive the Zulu, tradition is the better option. In Brave New World, the tradition tree gets you access to great engineers, and pulling some key tourism boosting wonders with great engineers is going to be pretty important, assuming we can survive the early game. Plus, that gives us access to oligarchy, which will be good for defending, and a stronger capital. So, whereas liberty gets us the free settler and the free worker, but I don't know how many cities I'm going to go for. I'm going to expand at least once, and probably fairly early. Expanding twice might be good, but I think I'm going to go tradition here. Since we have a lot of land that we want to expand to, we've got 2 resources in our 3 ring, and so the faster expansion and the +3 culture is going to help with that for sure. Okay, so there's 1 scout done. Let's go for a second scout here, and I think I'm going to have this guy go off to the north here, and see what the old Zulu are up to. Okay, we've got a Zulu warrior and a Zulu scout. And some more ancient runes. So, I'm not at all troubled about going double scout. The other option would be to go monument, but I'm going to grab a free monument off of tradition rather than wait to build the monument myself and then get a free amphitheater. I'd rather save those early hammers for pumping out scouts, which I can use to go and meet other civs and hopefully find a lot of ancient ruins. We've been pretty lucky with them so far. The only thing I'd want to build next is either a granary or a shrine, and I won't have access to that for another 4 turns, so that lines us up perfectly with our early turns in terms of production to go double scout. A lot of salt. So salt is the best luxury resource in the game. When you improve it, you get +1 food and +1 hammer. So that means we'll have a tile that gives us 3 food, 1 hammer, and a gold, which is pretty much one of the best tile yields you can get, leaving aside the natural wonders, of course. And even then, it's better than most natural wonder tile yields. Okay. So I missed what upgrade we got off of that last rune. I wasn't really paying attention. Our culture looks the same. Our gold doesn't appear to have increased by too much. Did we get a free tech? No. Maybe when I review the video I'll actually see what I got there. We didn't get barbarian encampments either, or maps. Oh, we must have gotten a population? Which would have been a bit of a waste, since I think we were about to grow naturally anyways. Okay, let's see what's down here. Barb camp. And free animal husbandry tech, that's great. Okay, continuing to scout to the north, and scouting with our spearmen. I'm assuming we're approaching the lands of the Zulu. So I guess ideally we'd want to go and try to take care of the Zulu before they get their Impi. So I've played against the Zulu before, and the Impi are extremely unfair. Basically they get a free range attack before their regular attack, and they start with a whole bunch of crazy promotions. So they're really tough to beat, and so I'd rather wait until after I outclass the Impi with more modern units, or beat them before they get their Impi. So we're definitely, since we know that we're going to be facing a lot of military competition, a lot of aggressive pressure from the Zulu, we're definitely going to want to build a lot of archers and then upgrade them to composite bows. And the best way to produce a lot of archers is by expanding fairly rapidly. But I don't need to start making the archers right away. I think I'm going to grab mining first, since we do have the salt tiles. And once we get a worker out, either stolen or hard built, we can use the worker to chop a bunch of trees. Chopping down trees on plains is no loss really, since forests give you one hammer, but that's just a minimum, and so they don't actually increase the production on a plains tile, and you can chop them without any loss, unless you were planning to build lumber mills. But in this case, since I know that surviving early game is going to be very important, it's fine to give out the more long-term benefits of a lumber mill in favor of the short-term bonus hammers from chopping down forests. Okay, so there are a lot of barbs around. I don't know if I want to waste time fighting barbs when I know the Zulu are going to be a problem. And I also noticed the Zulu had a worker. And so it occurs to me that from reading the thread, it seems like war with the Zulu is inevitable. If I declare war on them early, perhaps that'll distract them from advancing towards Impi as quickly as they normally would. I don't know. Basically, I want a place to get a free worker. If I'm gonna, well, I could steal a worker from this city-state. But if I want to be friendly with all the other AIs, worker stealing, it seems like, maybe you don't even get the free Dow against the city-state anymore. I've had some examples of my very first city-state Dow triggering warmonger status amongst some of the AI. And so, in the past, you used to be able to get away with one free Dow against the CS, and you would often use that to steal a city-state worker without any penalty. So there it goes, got us protection. We just grew here. Let's see now. 4 turns for a shrine, 5 turns. I guess I'm okay with stagnation for now. Well, let's get a little food rolling. We'll go get our free monument. Pushes us up to 6 culture per turn. And we're continuing to scout around and having fairly good luck with finding a large amount of runes. So I've definitely found more runes on this playthrough than I did with my Shoshone playthrough, which is too bad for the Shoshone, since their unique unit definitely makes the most out of ancient runes. Not that we've necessarily had a bad go. We got an upgrade culture and gold, plus a mystery one, which I think was wasted, as well as a free tech, animal husbandry at that. So we've had some pretty good luck with the runes thus far, and from what I've read about this particular deity challenge, we're going to need all the luck we can get. So as far as unique luxuries we found go, sugar, gold, wine, incense, but that's right towards the Zulu. I don't think I have to... Oh, come on! So, the Zulu scout beat us to those ancient runes, which is too bad. Now let's go and pledge to protect Antwerp and Vancouver here. And I'm actually, the idea of stealing a worker from the Zulu is growing on me here. Well, we'll have to see how many units are protecting their worker, but our spearmen should be able to survive a range attack or two if we end up having to steal a worker right in front of a few of Shaka's units. Okay, we've got another city-state down here. Alright, there's mining done. So I can work on a granary or a settler. Let's start pumping out that settler now. So let's shift that over like that, 13 turns. If I go and buy the horse tile, that'll get that down to 11 turns. And if I buy, well, buying the salt would get me one more hammer, but a little more food, which will help with the... No, it won't help with the settler production because I'm already running negative food. So, if I buy a hill, that should speed things up even more. 70. This is the cheapest hill, and this hill actually gets us closer to the citrus. I think I'll buy the hill that gets us closer to what we actually want, rather than saving 20 gold. That 20 gold might come in handy, or might be more important than the direction of our border expansion. Although, if we do get desert folklore, I'll be happy to have the desert hill. Alright, so let's go grab that down. So we're running -3 food, but since we can't starve while we're producing a settler, that chopped a good 5 turns off of the original settler production estimate. So 10 turns for a settler on turn 18 is decent. Up next, I think I'm going to want to go and grab masonry. I'm not sure where we're going to get the worker, but we will want to improve that marble at some point. Okay, Ragusa, may as well go and pledge to protect them as well. Here's Wu. We can go and sell her an embassy for 1 gold per turn, and actually go and see if Hawatha or the Zulu can buy embassies from us. Not yet. Okay. I think I'll try to add an annotation for when I was talking about how food contributes to settler production. For those of you who haven't seen the little video I made on that, it's not necessarily the best video, but it does help you in terms of deciding how to get the most hammers during settler production. Basically, food contributes to settler production at 1, 2, 4, 8, and 12 excess food. Each of the increments that I mentioned gets you 1 bonus hammer towards settler production. So we just met Arabia. I don't need to trade the AI for their embassy. I'd rather have the 30 gold. It's nice that we saw Onondaga on our own. That means that once we get caravans going, we'll be able to trade with the capital. And so the reason that I'm not in a rush to get embassies from the AI is A, you get the 30 gold trickling early, which is fairly important in the early game by selling them the embassy, but also if you don't know where their lands are, city-states can give you the Find the Lands of X quest, and that's very easy to fulfill if you can just go and buy an embassy from the AI in question. Well, let's go see what the Iroquois are up to. And so we saw this archer or scout archer coming from the left. I'm still trying to get more runes. So, okay, this is Beijing. So I was going to say maybe I won't scout in this direction since maybe the Chinese capital is there and they've absorbed all the runes. But there's really no guessing what direction or what runes the AI has gotten, since they often miss runes right beside their capital, so I'm really not sure what sort of scripting or behavior guides the AI scouts. Okay, while we're here, let's go check out what the Iroquois are up to. And alright, why don't we hang out over here? We can go and heal up, then we'll go investigate the Zulu and steal a worker from either the Zulu or from Antwerp. We've got an Arabian caravan, so I assume Arabia's somewhere to the north there. There's some copper. And next turn, go and adopt a policy. Landed elite isn't going to help us while we're training settlers. We can get monarchy, which will get us a small gold boost. Let's go with that then. Aristocracy is not really applicable, since the only wonder we're going to build is going to be our national college, at least for the early game. Perhaps once we stabilize, depending on when that happens, we might build the oracle. But at least for the early game, there aren't too many wonders that we will even consider going for. Alright, the most literate people, of which we are not. Although this means that if we get a trade route going with one of our neighbors, right now we're too far away from the Iroquois to set up a trade route, but if we do get one going, we'll get a lot of nice science off of that. It'll probably double our science per turn, really, so getting a caravan going would be a good idea. So here's Mecca, and it looks like they are building, or have built. Let's see now. They're currently building the Great Library. Barbarian encampment. Okay, choose research. Let's find out where the iron is, and then we might want to go and grab archery, or perhaps work our way over towards philosophy. But depending on when the Tao comes, I don't even know if we'll have time to get up a national college, in which case going and grabbing, say, chariot archers or horsemen or catapults might be more profitable. Of course, we're going to go and grab composite bowmen fairly early, but the question is, do I want to grab some of these techs before heading towards philosophy? Most likely, yes. We should also go and bring our spearmen up so we can defend our worker, who will be finishing next turn. And over here, do I want to explore to the south? Okay, so that wasn't worth it. The other option was to continue to the east. I was hoping that I could find some ruins, or that there'd be more to explore to the south, but as it is, we'll have to backtrack around that barbarian encampment. Okay, you'll pay for that. I'm not worried about angering the Zulu, since I'm pretty sure that regardless of what I do to them, they're going to be declaring war on me. So let's just go for another settler here, and let's hope we can wander off on our own. So there's a city-state here, a bunch of scouts have made it through, an Arabian scout and an Iroquois scout have made it through without taking any damage, so I'm hoping there are no barbarians wandering around up here, and I'll be able to get my settler to this hill on a mountain by the salts, horses, salt, and gold within range, and another salt unescorted, since I didn't bring my spearmen over in time to properly escort the settler. So it's definitely a little risky, but it is a calculated risk, and it'll be worth it if I can sell that city without waiting for the escort to come over. Okay, so we just met Milan. We're trespassing in Bucharest. Well, let's get a little closer. So far, so good. Okay, let's continue exploring then. Ooh, Mount Sinai is probably right next to a Zulu city there. So, we're about to find out if this was a horrible gamble. It was an excellent gamble. There's not a barbarian in sight, and the AI scouts, I've never seen them declare war to grab a free settler, or capture a unprotected settler. Now, if this was a multiplayer game against humans, that settler would most certainly be screwed. I'd say 8 out of 10 players would declare war to grab that settler just to deprive their neighbor of an expansion, as well as gaining themselves a worker. But as it is, we've got ourselves our second city up at turn 31. So let's go found Sao Paulo there, and lock down the salt, set ourselves to production focus. I'll slap up an annotation for the production focus trick as well. And over here we could start hard building a worker, or we could work on a shrine. So, assuming no one else beats us to the next pantheon, we can found one in a turn, in which case I'm not too worried about building a second shrine right now. I think the caravan, if we can go and send a caravan to the Iroquois, that'll definitely help out our gold per turn and our tech per turn. So I'll hope to be able to steal the worker from either Antwerp or the Zulu. And here's Sweden. Let's go and sell an embassy to them, as well as the Iroquois or the Zulu. Neither of them have writing yet. Now as for my next city, 1, 2, 3, I could drop myself on one of these hills, which would act as a defensive buffer against the Zulu, protecting my capital as well as Sao Paulo. It would give me perhaps access to the 2 wheat and the salt a little sooner, with a new point of border expansion. Settling over this way would be decent as well, but it's a little too far away from my other cities, especially if war is coming. Settling back here would be good too. We've got the gems, although Vancouver will go and grab that soon. Yeah, settling a city back here would definitely be good. We'd have access to, well, Sao Paulo will already have access to both of these salts, so I don't have to worry about that. And if our borders do expand to the gold, the only unique thing we'd be getting is sugar, which is worth it. It just depends on how early I think I'll be going to war with the Zulu. And if I am going to war with the Zulu, then I'll want all of my cities towards the Zulu so I can start pumping units in that direction. Well, on that note, I think I'll stop part 1 here, but I'll definitely start playing part 2 immediately after, so I won't be able to answer any of your questions or comments.